Alright guys, welcome to this nice little video here. We are departing, as you can see, from Rotterdam, the Hague airport, and we are flying to the Isle of Man airport. I've never landed there, so I'm excited to see what it looks like as we come into the Isle of Man. We are flying the ERJ-195 CityHopper type airplane here from Rotterdam in the KLM livery. So firstly, we're going to put in our FMC here. The EFB doesn't work yet. They still haven't updated that, so we are just stuck with using the FMC here. So we are going from EHRD, which is Rotterdam, and we are going to, I think it's this. If it's not, then we're going to be going to the wrong spot. Alright, cool, return. So that's set. Cost index, set something very generic here. And we will cruise at, let's say 30, I think we're heading west, right? Anyway, 32,000 feet. And with a temperature of whatever, minus, I just usually put something like minus 15. Cruising temperature. So that's set. I'm a little scared now because my engines aren't turning on. Or go to our flight plan page and set in our waypoints. I got my waypoints from onlineflightplanner.org. Alright, so first waypoint, they say Sid to Tulip. So we'll see if we can find this departure here. Looks like active runway is runway 24, so we'll choose runway 24. And let's see if there's a Tulip departure here. I need to go down. Is there a Tulip departure? Yeah, there it is. Tulip 3 Bravo or Tulip 3 Bravo Yankee. Let's do this one. And insert. It might be just okay, cool. So we do have some waypoints that made their way in here. We're flying runway heading a little bit, runway 24, and then just making our turns onto Tulip. And next waypoint is Monel, so we're gonna set that in. Alright, so we turn nav mode on, we'll turn vertical speed on. Give us a nice vertical speed as we're gonna climb. We're gonna climb fast with this plane. So nav mode, vertical speed is going to be on, and we don't really have a speed hold on this plane anyway that works. We do have an auto throttle here. Auto throttle is armed. Yeah, and we'll turn all our landing lights on here. All these lights on. Fasten seat belts on. And no smoking. Alright, let's get to runway 24. Let's get taxiing. Alright guys, as we're taxiing, thanks for watching this video. If you're just watching for fun on YouTube, if you're one of my regulars, thanks for watching. And if you're watching for an ERJ-195 tutorial, sorry that it couldn't be better. Unfortunately, it's hard when the EFB isn't working. We can't look at any charts or anything. We kind of just have to guess around. And even this isn't working well. We'll give it a nice full throttle here. We should be able to make it. Alright. Here we are. Alright. A little bit, and then trying to get the autopilot on. Get my altitude. Altitude's at 11,000. Vertical speed is set. Nav mode is on. Auto throttle is on. One thing you guys should know about this plane, the autopilot doesn't show how it should show, so you kind of have to guess whether your autopilot is on or not. But we will figure it out. There's a plane over there. Alright, let's get taking off. Flaps are set, projected takeoff is set. Spooling up the engines, and let's give it almost full throttle here. Want to make sure we get this thing off the ground. We're looking to rotate at about 120. We're not at rotate yet. Alright. Now we can start rotating this plane. Alright, and positive rate, gears up. Gonna slow the engines down because we are gonna be over speeding any second now. Alright, and starting my right turn out of Rotterdam. Gonna put one notch of flaps back up here. It'll allow us to speed up a little bit. Alright, making a right turn. And climbing to our next waypoint. Gonna have to hand fly this thing a little bit. No biggie. Alright, next notch of flaps up. Heading to my waypoint now. And speeding the plane up a little bit. And autopilot is on. We'll see what gets on or what doesn't. Got the nice view of Amsterdam, and it looks like the LNAV is kicking in. Holding 250 knots, that's good. Looking at our vertical speed, it seems like it's holding at 2500, which is what we wanted. Vertical speed's at 2500. It says heading select, but it does look like we are on LNAV. And we got the nice view of the Netherlands as we are coming off the coast here in Rotterdam. Like I said, this plane flies nice and smoothly. It's good, but like right now it says heading select, which is not true. We're on LNAV. We're holding 250 knots, and we are on vertical speed. So we are gonna put our altitude now up to our cruising of 32,000 feet as we're coming out of Rotterdam here. I like the views of the Netherlands. I've been there once. I've been to Rotterdam. Nice city. It's maybe a controversial take, but I preferred Rotterdam to Amsterdam. Amsterdam just has so much going on, especially at nighttime. You don't feel like you have a quiet time. At least Rotterdam's a little quieter. It's not super quiet, but it's quieter, and you're more you're closer to the water. Well, that's not true. But anyway, I just found it nicer around Rotterdam. It looked just like this. I actually think I biked right where I'm looking down here. I did a nice long bike ride along the coast of the water, and I do remember seeing these big windmills. So yeah, alright, we gotta fly a plane. So we should be making a right turn here if we are still on our LNAV. So we're going to be monitoring this, seeing if we do make a right turn. Alright, cool. So yeah, we're making that right turn. That confirms to me that we are on LNAV, even though it doesn't say so up here. And we are going to be right at Tulip soon, and then it's just a direct flight all the way to the Isle of Man. Look at that, we're at 60% N1, and we're climbing at 2,500 feet per minute. It's crazy. But there you go, guys. Here you have it. Pretty standard departure out of Rotterdam. And we are going to fly all the way. It's about maybe a 40-45 minute flight. Alright, crossing out of 10,000. So now the plane is speeding itself up to 320 knots. We can turn off landing lights here. And fasten seatbelt signs off. You could walk around, go to the bathroom, do what you want. We're going to be crossing through the cloud soon. I don't know what this means. Looks like the engines were hot. That's fine. So we sped up to 320 knots indicated here. Ground speed's a little slower. We got almost a 50 knot headwind here. So yeah, just flying. The coast of the Netherlands is moving away as we head towards the UK and Isle of Man. And we will see you guys for the landing. See you shortly. Alright everyone, welcome to the approach into the Isle of Man. If you didn't see the takeoff, go ahead and go find that takeoff video. We took off from Rotterdam, and we are now on the approach into the Isle of Man. We are flying ILS runway 26, and actually the ILS just came on here, so I think we're going to be able to do an ILS approach with this plane. We're currently descending very slowly. We want to descend to 2,000 feet. We want to be at 2,000 feet here at ERJ-195, which I think means that we are 6 miles away from runway 26. If you're wondering how to set up the ILS in this type of plane, you just simply go to the destination here at the bottom of your flight plan. You could cycle through the waypoints, but you go to the destination here, arrival, and you choose whichever one. We chose ILS runway 26. That's the current active runway via the Kelly transition. So if I go back and look at my map, as you can see, Kelly is the waypoint that we are just almost about to reach. We're 11 miles away and descending nice and slowly now. We can even slow our descent even more. The only restriction we have is we want to be at 2,000 feet at this point over here at ERJ-06, and we also have a little restriction that at 147 we want to be at or above 2,000 feet. So anyway, as long as we're at 2,000 feet or above, we are good for the ILS approach. So we have our first localizer diamond here that showed up, so we know that the localizer signal has been captured by the plane, or at least that the signal is captured. I guess we've got this pink diamond here. We're still waiting for the glide slope diamond here. The localizer diamond is there. We're still looking for the glide slope one that hasn't oh, there we go. Right as we're talking, it just captured. So now we know that the signal for both of these, glide slope and localizer, is captured. And we are just going to have to play around with our approach hold here. And where is the localizer hold? There it is. So these two buttons are going to be used for our approach. So we're just about going to go to Kelly. Let me see if I can zoom in a little more here for us. See if it's even worth it. Alright, there we go. So zooming into Kelly. Now we're making a left turn for some reason. We should be making a right turn soon here. I'm actually gonna just preemptively go direct to 123 here so that we oh, looks like the plane is doing it. Okay, so we're gonna let the plane do it. We're gonna trust it a little bit. Making the right turn now. Flying over the water here, coming into the Isle of Man. The first time I land in this airport. So it's gonna be a nice little approach. First time I fly it, so let's hope that it's good. So cool. We are turning to our 123, and we are going to just let our plane fly us in here. So we're going to get down to our 2,000 feet mark here, and we're going to keep slowing down and setting our flaps down lower. So we're going to slow to about 185 here. Off our left wing there, so it's going to be somewhere back over here. We should be intercepting the localizer shortly, and we are going to keep slowing down even more. 140 knots here, and setting flaps, another notch of flaps here, and setting flaps full for the arrival. So flaps are full, holding at about 140 here, and we are going to be making the left turn shortly. I'm expecting to see this pink diamond line up and us making a left turn, but it's not moving, so I'm questioning the very knowledge I have of ILS approaches. Okay, cool. So left turn is happening, but doesn't look like we've intercepted. Ah, there it is. Okay. Localizer's intercepted. Looks like we're going to overshoot a little bit, which is not surprising. So localizer intercepted. Yeah, we are overshooting the runway, so hopefully we'll get back. It happens a lot with these types of planes. Payware, the ILS approaches don't always work well, but now we have to set approach mode on for the glide slope. If we don't turn on approach mode, the glide slope isn't going to work. So now the plane's going to correct course here because we were a little bit above our or we overshot our runway a little bit, runway 26. So we should be lined up. I think I see the airport right over here in front of me. I think I see some kind of runway. So, lined up, runway 26, that's perfect. We are heading 256, so in line with runway 26. And glide slope is about to be intercepted here. We should see this GS turn green in about 2 seconds. 1, 2, and green for me. There we go. Green. So glide slope is intercepted. Localizer intercepted. Fully established on the localizer. We'll pretend that we got cleared for landing. Let's get a nice view of the Isle of Man. I want to visit this place someday. Just in between Ireland and the UK. Must be a nice little place to live. Isn't it a tax haven or something? Anyway, maybe save some money living there. So I do think we have runway in sight right here. I see a nice strip of something gray. And now we just monitor ILS, make sure everything's good. We'll hold at about 140 knots here. And we will hand fly the rest once we get a little bit closer. We'll let the ILS do its thing. And yeah, we won't make our job too hard. We could hand fly it, but I'm a lazy pilot, and I like to let the ILS bring us all the way close before I take controls here. How I like to do is I usually turn off auto throttle first before doing anything with the autopilot. So I'll turn off the auto throttle and control the speed myself here. So disconnect auto throttle. Now auto throttle is disconnected, and I'm controlling the speed with my throttles here, so we throttled a bit fast. So gear is down, flaps are full, we're fully established. Keeping an eye on the speed here. We're going to try to hold 140. This plane is really receptive to what you give it, so it's very sensitive. So it looks like we're a little bit right of the not the glide slope, sorry, of the localizer, so hopefully the plane corrects that. If not, we're going to have to do it ourselves. Holding at about 140 knots here. A little bit high also. Alright, slowing it down, bringing the engines back. Plane is trying to correct itself on the localizer and glide slope here, letting the speed kind of bleed out. We were looking for 133 on the approach. I always like to be a little bit fast to not get too close to the stall speed. I don't know why ground proximity warning system. Oh, there it is. Alright. So autopilot's off, and we are flying it in by hand here. Gonna try to get back on that localizer. And we're continuing for landing. 100 feet.
50,
40.
20, 10.
And trying to hold it off. Trying to make a nice landing. Oof. Are we floating or are we down? Alright, we're down. And that's not reverse thrust. This is reverse thrust. There we go. Alright. And we made it to the Isle of Man. Putting the flaps all the way back up. And gonna set the auto brakes back down. Alright. Thank you for flying with us on this KLM flight to the Isle of Man. Landing, I always have trouble landing this thing. It's not very, I guess, realistic feeling. It's really sensitive, so you have to be really soft on the yoke when you land it. But yeah, it was a decent landing. Could have been better, but we tried our best. I'm used to the feeling of the 737 or the 320, so when you fly different payware planes that have different physics, it's hard to adapt right on cue. But hey, we made it. We've landed. This guy's telling me to go right. I mean, I'm pretty far right there, bud. I'll just run you over. Alright, and stop. Perfect. Park and brake on. Thanks for watching, guys. We are... Ooh, look at that. We are in the Isle of Man. Flight from Amsterdam... No, not Amsterdam. Rotterdam all the way here. Leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed that. And, yeah. Subscribe so you can be back for my next flight, my next video. See ya.